Good afternoon. I mean, good morning. I'm sorry.
Good morning. This is the court reporter again. Just everyone stay muted until the judge addresses your case, so we have no feedback. Thank you.
In the name of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, this Court of Common Pleas is now declared open. Judge Glynnis Hill presiding.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Morning, Your
Morning.
Honor.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Sorry for the little delay. We had to make
Good
sure
morning.
that we straightened out some technical difficulties on our end. But thank you for being here today. We appreciate it. Before we get started, just a couple quick housekeeping matters. As you know, we're doing this by video, and the First Judicial District usually likes us to read some very specific instructions as it relates to the protocol for conducting these hearings by way of Zoom. I'm not going to take the time right now to formally read you what the protocol is word for word, but the bottom line is this. As I do each case, I just need to make sure that I have the consent of the parties who are here to conduct the hearings by Zoom. And just need to remind all parties who are involved with today's hearing that there can be no recording of these proceedings because under the law, it's forbidden. So please keep those basic instructions in mind. And having said that, we are going to go to the first case, which is, I believe, I have here Elizabeth Dees versus Zimmerman. Which parties, can the parties involved with those cases please identify yourselves? Is there anyone here for the case of Elizabeth Dees, that's D-E-E-S, versus Zimmerman? Okay. All right, let's set that aside. Natalie, I see that you, by the way, Janice, how are you?
I'm well, Your Honor.
Good. And Natalie, I see that you are involved in one of the cases. Which cases are you involved with?
I'm involved in Golden Rule versus McBride.
Okay, hold
I
on.
represent the plaintiff.
All right, 1 second. All right. Okay, we'll do that case next. You just indicated that you represent the plaintiff. Is anyone here for the defense?
Yes, Johnny McBride.
How are you, sir?
Okay.
All right.
And Lucia Jones, Lucia McBride Jones.
Okay, how are you?
How you doing, Your Honor? I'm great.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. And are you, do you have representation, or are you, representing yourself?
I'm
We
representing
represent
myself.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to turn the floor over to you. If you don't mind, Natalie.
Of course, Your Honor, this is an interesting case. It started out as an ejectment case. My client obtained the property at 306 West York from Barbara McBride, who I believe is the sister of Johnny McBride and Lucia Jones.
Right. Can I back you up just for a second? You said it started out as an ejectment case, and now it's what type of case? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Well, I guess it's still an ejectment case.
Okay. All right.
We didn't change it from an ejectment case. So my client obtained the property from Barbara McBride
Okay.
and 306 West York Street in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And the property was occupied. So we filed an ejectment action to gain possession of the property. However, once we filed the ejectment action, Mr. McBride and I believe some of the other siblings filed the counterclaim, alleging that the deed was fraudulently transferred. We submitted a claim to our title insurance, and our claim was recognized. So where we are now is we want to transfer the deed back to Barbara McBride because that's who we got the property from. She doesn't want the property. So we need somebody to transfer the deed to the property because Miss McBride is not being cooperative. But we got the property from her.
Okay, so if you could be, and you have to forgive me if I ask you to repeat, it's just the acoustics for some reason are not the best through the Zoom. It's not you. It's just that I can't totally hear it. So there was a counterclaim that the deed was fraudulently transferred, and the very last thing you said, you need somebody to,
Right, we submitted the claim to our title insurance company,
I
which
see.
recognized the claim.
right,
And we are now willing to transfer the deed back. It makes the most sense for us to transfer the deed back to Barbara McBride, as
okay,
she is the one that we obtained title from.
okay,
But Ms. McBride is not being cooperative. I believe there is an estate dispute between Ms. McBride and her siblings.
okay. All right. Anything else?
No, just that, we're willing to give up the property, but we needed somebody to give it up to.
Okay.
Are they asking for consideration?
1 second. Plaintiff's counsel, are you looking for any consideration at all, or are you saying you're willing to give it back?
Well, we got consideration from our title insurance.
Fine, gotcha.
So we're willing to give it back. Obviously, for $1, there has to be some consideration. But
Gotcha.
also, we don't want to have, because we're just reversing an error. We don't want to have to pay transfer taxes. And I actually submitted a proposed order to Your Honor on Thursday. I emailed it to you to the email box, which has us transferring the property to Barbara McBride. And also, the order says that that she's to be compelled to receive the deed and initial it with the part where it says grantee's address.
Okay.
I can
All right,
share the screen with you to show you the order if you don't have it in front of you.
All right, fine. Before we go any further, I do want to hear from the defendants real fast, but other than what the synopsis that you've given, for the record, do you need to put on any evidence other than what you've told me?
No.
Okay, all right. All right, let me turn the floor over to the defendants for a second. Did you hear what the plaintiff's attorney just said?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
Your Honor.
Who would like to speak first?
I would. I'm Johnny McBride.
Okay,
I'm the son of Johnny McBride Sr.
okay,
And he left the property to my name, Johnny McBride. And my sister went and transferred out of Johnny McBride's name and put in her name, which was illegal because we didn't give her permission. I was
understand.
staying property down there, taking care of it all my life. I'm 50 years old. And my sister backdoored all of us and sold the property for $30,000. And the property is worth more than 70, 100, 400,000, whatever the number is worth that. So we weren't going to sell the
Oh,
property anyway.
all right,
We didn't give-
1 second. Can you swear him in?
Oh, yeah, sure. Mr. McBride, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you're going to give to the court today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to incorporate by reference everything you just said now that you've sworn in, okay? And you can continue.
Yes. Okay. So my father left the property to under my name, John McBride, because I got the same name, my father.
Right.
And my sister backdoor all of us by selling the property, and I didn't know about it. I was
Okay.
down at the property, saying my dad, but then I moved out.
All right, just for the
Like
record,
that.
what's the address of the property?
36 West York Street.
Okay,
But
here in
we were
Philadelphia,
staying,
right?
yes, we were staying at 2356 North 3rd Street.
All right,
And house right there. So my father had got the lot. He been owned the lot and stuff like that. And
Okay.
then next thing you know, my sister just backdoored us and sold it without our permission. We didn't agree on it. We
I
want the property back. I
Alright.
never told her to take it out of my name because I'm the only, I'm the oldest boy, and my father would have left me to control everything and split it among my sisters and everything, do the right thing. So she backdoor all of us and sold it. Now she been hiding and stuff like that. And, you know, and we want our property back so we can do the right thing.
All right. The other witness,
all, yeah.
sorry, all right, thank you. The
And
other
I would
Your Honor,
like
if
it
I
back.
may say-
I would like
say
it back in my,
something.
I would like it back in my name, Johnny McBride.
All
Your Honor,
right, good.
if I may
Right.
just say something, I believe Barbara McBride was actually the administrator of the estate of Johnny McBride Senior. And I don't believe that the deed was ever transferred out of the name of Johnny McBride Senior.
She
So
put it,
that raises an issue for us because we certainly don't want to deed it back to the wrong person and incur any liability.
Right.
I don't believe that the deed was ever in the name of Johnny McBride Jr.
Right.
no,
Okay.
the Johnny McBride.
Johnny McBride Senior, your father, and Barbara was the administrator of his estate. Isn't that correct?
May I
No.
speak?
Yeah,
May
one
I
second.
speak?
Did you hear what?
Yes.
what the
My
plaintiff
father,
said?
my father all the time left the property, and Johnny McBride, that's me. He didn't put senior on it for a reason. I don't know why he didn't put senior on it, but my father left it to me. Hello?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about the screen blanked out, but he left it to me. I'm not saying Barbara took it out the state, my father Johnny McBride name and put it in her name. Barbara McBride, whatever her husband's last name is. She
Okay.
they
So is there a will leaving the property to you?
No,
well,
that's the,
that I didn't really look into that all the way. No, I mean, I left it under my, sister hands because I didn't never sign that. I didn't never sign her saying she could take it out of state and
You didn't answer my question. Is there a will that your father left, leaving you the property?
no, sir.
it
That's no,
might-
ma'am.
I didn't
There's
look
no
into
will.
it
Okay.
all the way.
No,
Well, then,
there's,
Your Honor, if there's no will, then the property goes by intestacy.
I didn't, by intestate, is that, excuse me,
Right, by
everybody's
the
over
laws of
talking,
intestacy.
excuse me. Sorry, so one at a time. I think what you last said, plaintiff's counsel, was that if there's no will, the property goes by the laws of intestacy, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine, thanks, that's what I thought you said. Okay, all right, I want to give the other young lady an opportunity to speak very quickly.
yes, how you doing, Your Honor?
How are you?
Actually, I want to put on record that
Well, let me
Barbara-
swear you in,
Ma'am?
let me swear you
Yes.
in. We're gonna swear you in, ma'am.
Ma'am, could you please raise your right hand? You swear the testimony you're about to give to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Barbara went down and she made herself power of attorney on her own.
Is that his sister?
Barbara went to, yes, Barbara is the oldest, I'm next in line, and then there's another one, and then John comes in. So what she did was she went and we wanted to find out what was in our father's bank account. So I told her that she had to go to the bank and get paperwork to find out what was in his bank account. But what she did, she got paperwork of renunciation forms. So she came back and she asked us to sign this form so she could find out what was in his bank accounts. So when one signed the forms, she took the forms down to City Hall to have them look at it. So when they told her what the papers was originally for, is not just to look in a bank account. The information was to take over his estate, blah, blah, blah. So she said she changed her information to state that she would be power of attorney, but none of us gave her that permission to be a power of attorney. So she did that on her own. Not
Okay.
only that, Your Honor, she left out siblings for that power of attorney because he had other siblings. Some signed and some didn't sign. A lot of people didn't want to sign because they didn't want to get into giving her any power of attorney. So then we found out that she could not do it. But later on down the road, we found out that she did do it. So we was wondering, how was she able to sell when she didn't give the courts the proper information to even go about being a power of attorney?
Okay.
So she went back door on us and she didn't tell us anything and sold it out.
All right, so you agree with the gentleman?
Right, my dad didn't have a will. We were in the process of making his will a week before he had passed away, but he didn't complete it because he had something that he had, some information that he was missing that he wanted to put down. So he didn't have it. So unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, so you agree the will was never completed before he died?
No, sir, it was
Okay,
not
fine.
completed.
All
So
right.
it went, so the
But-
state went to everybody, supposed to have been split equally amongst the family. But Barbara went on and did some stuff without our permission.
I
And then she
understand.
didn't give the courts the right information because everybody didn't sign off on her doing anything.
Okay, all right, thank you. Give me 1 second.
Yes.
Okay, does anyone else wish to add anything before we, and I'll give you my thoughts?
I just want to add something, Your Honor.
ahead.
Regardless of whether Barbara had the authority to become administrator, the
Right.
court did appoint her administrator.
Right,
So I feel that the deed should be transferred back to her as administrator, and then, I mean, the siblings will have to fight amongst themselves. That's my.
I
position.
think, I think you're right. I think you're right, because if he never finished the will, the laws of intestate succession should govern, and the bottom line is we should just put the status quo the way it seems to me, the way it was
That is
before,
correct.
before, all right, so that's my thinking right now. Does either of the defendants wish to say anything?
No, okay. I agree.
You wanna
I
talk
agree
first,
with the
Chris?
decision.
Pardon? All right,
It-
all right, thank you, sir. Did you want to say something real fast?
Yeah, I just think it should be put in the proper name, John McBride, not my
Meaning you.
sister Barbara. No, I'm John
your
McBride,
father.
my father,
Your father?
John
No, I
McBride,
can't.
like it was,
Yeah, I think
not to
whatever
be
the,
changed.
yeah, listen, whatever the status quo was before, I think is what we need to go revert back to. And let the administrator do what she needs to do. I see both of your points of view. I understand your concerns. I think the plaintiff's attorney understands your concerns too. I think your issues though are a separate issue from her concerns. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to end this hearing right now because I have other hearings I need to address. And I'm going to look at your file a little bit more closely. And if there's a need to follow up with all of you, just for a very quick 5-minute hearing later on in the week, I'll do that. Otherwise, I will do what I need to do to rectify the situation as best I can. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have your email addresses
The defendants. We need those.
for the defendants?
I don't know. I can give you mine.
Go ahead.
If need be. It's JONES.
Speak slowly so the stenographer can take this down.
Okay, Jones, JONES. M as in Mary, LUCIA 648 at yahoo.com.
Thank you. And sir, do you have one?
Yes. Krishaya,
How do you spell that?
my daughter's name. KRYSHIA 2334 at gmail.com.
All right, can you just say that one more time to make sure we all have it?
Krishaya 2334 at, I'm sorry, I'm gonna spell out. Let me spell out. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, if you don't mind.
KRYSHIA 2334 at gmail.com.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, like I said, before the week's out, if there's a need to have another brief 5-minute Zoom here, and we will do that. Like I said, I don't want to hold up the other participants who have matters before me today, but basically I get the gist of what you're saying, and the court will take the appropriate action to try to reform the situation. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Your
thank you, Your Honor.
Are you okay?
Thank
Is
you.
that
Thank
Nada,
you.
is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank
All right.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And there's a good chance we probably will contact you, but it shouldn't take too long. I just want to make sure I look at the file and think about it a little bit more before I do anything. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay,
Your Honor.
thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone have, as it relates to this case, have a good day.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
You're welcome.
Next case.
Sure.
Sure, Lay versus Baronato et al., case number 02568.
Good morning, Your Honor.
How are
Justin,
you?
counsel for the plaintiff.
All right. Okay. What about the, anyone here on behalf of the defense?
Don't unmute, don't unmute, don't unmute. Oh, wait, there we go. Oh, okay, I have my clients are here, but I don't see anybody for Mr. Baronato.
Okay. All right. Can you just identify, counsel, who your clients are?
Yes, my client is New E. Lee.
Yes, that's me.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good.
The other parties are other witnesses.
All right, fine. So the other parties are witnesses, your witnesses related to this case? Okay, thank you. Is anyone, again, before we continue here for the defense, Mr. Baronato or any representative from Mr. Baronato, are you here? All right, let the record reflect. It doesn't appear as though anyone for the defense is here, either Mr. Baronato or any representative. Counsel, was there good service?
Yes, Your Honor. Pursuant to an alt service motion, the defendant participated in several matters involving this trial, had filed multiple preliminary objections, responded to motions, and was actively participant in this case.
All right, and he did answer the complaint?
There is an answer to the complaint. The new matter and cross claim that he filed have been overruled, and POs to those have been sustained, I should say. So he did file an answer.
Okay,
and
great.
Otherwise,
Thank you. And it was, and you said this already several times, just making sure the record's clear. Good service to your knowledge.
good service. Yes.
I'll
sir.
check the docket obviously as well, just to be sure. And I think I have checked it. All right. All right. So just for, you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to stand up periodically.
Okay.
My
Um,
getting asleep.
Even though the defendant's not here, why don't you quickly state your concerns, and then we can put on some brief evidence. Defendant's not here. So the point is, we don't have to, spend a lot of time on this, but I
Very
just
good.
would like you to make a record. So can you just give a quick opening, articulating what your concerns are?
Yes, Your Honor. This matter concerns the property at 2302 South 22nd Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19145. Mr. Baronato was the former owner of the property and lost the property at a mortgage foreclosure sale. The prior mortgage was foreclosed upon. Mr. Baronato's attempted appeals of that prior mortgage foreclosure have been denied and or dismissed. The sheriff's sale occurred on May 7th of 2019, and a sheriff's deed was acknowledged on October 25th of 19 and recorded on November 6th of 2019 at docket identification number 535-89057. The plaintiff made request or demand for possession of the premises. Mr. Baronato failed to leave the property, and so plaintiffs filed a complaint seeking possession of the property based upon their paramount title pursuant to the sheriff's deed. We've established that the defendant has no right, title, or interest to the property, and that the plaintiff has right to immediate and exclusive possession of the premises. I do have the plaintiff here to verify the certified copy of the complaint that our office obtained from City Hall, and I can present that for the record.
All right, thank you, sir. And so you're here to eject them.
Yes, this is
All right,
ejected.
fine. All right, so why don't you put on your first witness, and just remember before we get started that overall little synopsis that I gave to all parties about the protocol for the Zoom here and things like that. I don't want to be repetitive, so I'm not going to repeat it for each case, but just if you could keep that in mind as well, and the witnesses, okay?
Yes, thank you, Your
All right,
Honor.
thank you, sir. So why don't you
I-
present your first witness, and we're going to swear your first witness in after you identify the witness.
I would like to call New Ely. Sorry.
Yes, that's me.
Can
Ms.
you
Lake, could you
state-
raise your right hand, please?
Yes,
You swear the testimony you're about to give to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
yes,
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Lay, are you the record owner of the property at 2302 South 22nd Street?
yes,
And did you purchase this property through a sheriff's sale?
yes,
And did you have anyone assist you with the purchase of the property or management of the property other than yourself?
yes. I have Jenny.
Can you explain who Ginny is and what her real name is?
Yes, Jenny is my sister-in-law, and her real name is Dong Nugent.
And when did you purchase the property?
Yes, on in May 2019.
Thank you.
And did you paid for the property, and did you receive a deed to the property from the Sheriff of Philadelphia?
Yes,
Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to present an exhibit.
Sure. You'll mark this as what, P1?
Yes, please.
Sure. And ma'am, did you say you purchased it with your sister or by yourself?
I purchased it by myself, but I have my
Okay.
sister-in-law manage the property for me.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Lay, do you see the document that's presented in front of you today?
Yes,
Do you recognize this document?
yes.
And could you tell the court what you believe this document to be?
This is the deed of the property on 2302 South 22nd Street, Philadelphia, PA 19145.
And is that your name on the in the grantee line that the cursor is circling?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. And can you tell the court how much you paid for the property?
$155,000.
Okay. And for the court's record, this is the certification.
So noted.
Yep. Ms. Lay, have you attempted to get Mr. Baronato out of the property?
Yes,
And you've done that by yourself and through your sister-in-law?
yes,
And to date, has Mr. Baronato left the property?
no,
I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you. When's the last time you checked to confirm that he was still in the property?
I believe a few days ago I drove by properties, but it's the sign's still there. It said that no trespassing.
But did you Were you able to find out or detect that he was still there, present in the property? On
No,
that day?
no.
You didn't see him?
I still see the
Hold on.
the electric, the light was
Well,
still.
hold on one second.
Hold on, please.
Let me just talk to her since she's under oath. And your other witnesses as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to you in a second. Just hold tight a second. If I could go back to Miss Lee for a second?
Yes,
My only question was, you said you drove by the property a couple days ago,
yes.
and you believe that he's still in the property, Mr. Baronato, right?
I, at the time when I drove by, I did not see him in the property,
Okay.
but he left a sign up at the door where it said no trespassing.
Oh, he left the sign up.
Yes, there was a sign that he put on like the entrance and he said no trespassing.
Okay, I understand. All right. So when's the last time you actually saw him at the property?
I have my sister-in-law manage the property, so I check it once in a while when I can.
Now, my question was, to the best of your knowledge, and this is my last question for you for now. To the
Yes.
best of your knowledge, when is the last time you recall seeing him at the property?
I never saw him at the property in person. I only saw him with the lights on.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Counsel, did you have another witness you would like to present?
Yes, I'd like to call Duong Nguyen.
Yeah.
Miss Glenn?
Yes,
How do you pronounce your last name?
when?
When, okay. I'm going to swear you in real fast, okay?
Ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, counsel.
Yes, Ms. Nguyen, may I call you Ginny?
Yes,
Thank you. Ginny, are you in charge of or helping your sister-in-law manage the property at 2302 South 22nd Street? I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
yes, I do.
Thank you. And have you had communications and interacted with the defendant, Mr. Baronato?
Yes, we met him in person once and talked to him over the phone 2 times.
And when was the most recent time that you spoke with him?
That I believe was back in January
Of this year?
of this year. Yes,
And to your knowledge, he remained in possession in January of 2022?
yes, correct.
Okay. And during the course of this litigation, have you seen Mr. Baronato participate in this litigation, filing responses?
Yes, he has always responded back to our case and try to open up with new arguments and
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, as someone assisting with the management of the property, is Mr. Baronato still in possession of the property?
yes, that's correct. That's I believe the last time I talked to him, because we was trying to offer him some settlement to move out, but we offer 15,000 and he agreed to the amount. However, he wants to take the money and said that he take 1 month to move out of the house, but we did not agree to that. So he never respond back.
So there's no agreement for him to remain in the property?
No.
And there's no agreement for him to leave the property?
No.
Okay. I have no further questions for the witness.
Okay, you said you last spoke to him. Well, at least you mentioned twice when you last spoke to him. The first time you said you last spoke to him back in January of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
When's the last time you actually saw him in a property?
We never met him at the property because there was the trespassing sign, so we never walked past that.
Okay.
But there was one time we met him at the diner in South Philly in person. That was back in 2019, I believe.
Okay. And then when he made, you offered him what, 15,000 at some point. I heard what your counsel just said. He said that there was no agreement, and you said that. But when was that offer made?
That was in January of this year.
All right, but that's after that was after the sheriff's sale, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Counsel, do you have any other witnesses?
I have no other witnesses, Your Honor. Plaintiff rests.
All right, thank you. All right, brief summary argument then. You don't need a lot.
Sure. Yes, Your Honor. With the certified copy of the sheriff's deed, which I'll also move into evidence, it is clear that the plaintiff has paramount title to the property and the right to immediate and exclusive possession. And for lack of attendance, but otherwise, despite that, there's no genuine issue of material fact and no issue of law. And judgment for possession should be entered in the name of the plaintiff.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. I'm going to obviously take your give serious request to your arguments and take it under advisement. I'll give you an order probably later this week. Okay.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. May I be
You take care of yourself. Everyone related to this case, have a good day.
Yes, thank you so much, Your Honor.
All right, let's move on to True Vision LLC versus Doe et al. Case number 01774.
All right, 1 second. Okay. Is there an attorney here representing True Vision?
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor. David Lehman, Your Honor, for True Vision LLC. And I do have Mr. Felton Heyman on the line, who is the owner of True Vision, Your Honor.
All right, how are you, counsel? Counsel, how are you?
Great, Judge. How are you?
Good. Is there a someone here on behalf of the defendants at all? It looks like there was service, according to the docket, on or about February 2nd, 2021 on Jane Doe and all occupants. Is that correct, counsel?
It is, Judge. And I also served at hearing your notice that got sent out, your order for today, Judge, just to be safe. I served that also and served it was a default, Judge. They never answered, and I served the default on them also.
Thank you, sir. And it looks like the default judgment was entered, the first one at least was on February 24th, 2022.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, so can you give me a quick synopsis of what relief you're seeking? And then if you would like to put on your witness very briefly, obviously it's a default judgment, so we don't have to spend a lot of time.
Understood, Judge. Judge, this is an ejectment action, Judge, looking for possession of the property. Mr. Heyman, through his company, True Vision, purchased the property. I'm sorry, Judge, I should mention the property. It's 1336 South 5th Street, Your Honor. Purchased the property back on December 20th of 2019. The deed was recorded with the Recorder of Deeds of Philadelphia County soon after. I have been by, personally, Judge, been by the property numerous times, as recently as this last weekend, Judge, on Saturday. The property is still occupied. We've had tried many different ways to contact. I've had no contact with them whatsoever, Judge. The residents were in the property when the property was purchased, but they were not owners, Judge, as far as I could see. They were some type of tenant, Judge.
Okay. The deed was recorded when, did you say?
It was signed, Judge, on the 20th of December of 2019 and recorded soon after, Judge.
Okay. All right.
And I did provide the deed to the court, Your Honor, last week also.
You did provide that deed?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
Judge. I emailed it to your email.
Yeah, I think I probably have it in my file here. Hold on. I think I do. All right. If you know, how many occupants are inside the vehicle, inside the property, if you know?
Judge, Like I said, I've been by a couple times, basically doing drive-bys and sitting out front to see. It looks like there is 2 adult females, Judge, and they might have a child or 2. And that's best I can see, Judge. I do not see any men on the premises.
All right, thank you. All right, then you want to briefly put on Mr. Heyman
Sure,
as a
Judge, I can
witness just
ask
to
him
make a
to
record?
yeah. Sure, Judge, I can ask him to verify my opening.
Sure.
Mr. Heyman, are you there?
Yes.
We're
Good
going to
morning.
swear you. We're going to swear you in very briefly, okay, Mr. Heyman? It shouldn't take too long, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, counsel.
Okay, Mr. Heyman, were you able to hear the opening statement I gave of the case?
Yes.
Okay, and if I were to ask each of those questions again, would you change any of the things that I said?
No change. No change.
Okay, you purchased this property from Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Okay, and back in December of 2019?
Yes.
Okay, and since that time, I mean, and you retained me sometime after that, but since that time, you've been trying to secure the property,
Yes.
and you've been unsuccessful to this point?
Yes.
Okay, and to the best of your knowledge, the residents are still in that property?
Yes.
Okay, I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. All right, thank you. Counsel, do you wish to add anything else other than Mr. Heyman's testimony, or are you finished?
I have nothing else, Your Honor, besides moving the deed into evidence, Judge.
All right, fine, thank you. Okay, I'm going to obviously take your requests under advisement and grant a order hopefully later on this week, okay?
Thanks, Your Honor. Have a great day, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, take care of yourself.
All right, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Next,
Next case, Frempong v. Denmark, case number 86.
all right, as is either counsel here for Mr. Frempong or Mr. Frempong himself here.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Denenberg on behalf of the defendant, Miss Denmark. Mr. Frempong is here, but he's muted.
Okay. All right, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, Your Honor. How are you?
Your Honor, I'm here.
Okay. All right, how are you, Mr. Frempong?
Your Honor, good morning. I'm fine.
Good. All right, let me just talk to your counsel for a second.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry, Mr. Denenberg. Mr. Denenberg, are you representing him or you're not?
I am not.
Okay, you're representing the defendant?
That's
Yes,
correct.
Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, so Mr. Fremberg, why don't you, or do you have counsel yourself or you're just representing yourself?
Yeah, I represent myself, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So why don't you give your opening and do you have evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, my evidence is on the record already.
I know, but this is the actual hearing, so, you know, I know that we may have some of it, but I would like you to at least give an opening.
Your Honor, if I may, I may make reference to them, but everything is on the record.
Okay. All right, so go ahead, just give a quick opening in terms of what relief you're seeking and what evidence that you have, because this is the formal hearing now, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, basically, I acquired this property.
Well, before, let me swear.
Yeah, sure. Mr. Frempong, could you raise your hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. All right, so go ahead.
Your Honor, I acquired the property in 1985, and then in February 28, 2018.
One second. Sorry, somebody's ringing my bell. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. So you bought the property in 85?
85, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And in February 28, 2018.
Okay.
I leased it out to Miss Denmark and another guy, the Lawson, who after some infighting left the property. When I leased the property, it was a written lease. month to month.
It was a month-to-month lease.
That's correct, Your Honor.
I see.
And the lease is attached to the complaint, so it's on the record.
All right, but you,
And,
excuse me, I'm going to slow you down just a second. So you leased it to another tenant and someone else, and they were fighting, you were saying?
there were some problem with them, so the gentleman was asked to move from the property. Her boyfriend, I suppose.
All right. Who asked, who asked them to move? The tenant?
I think they showed me a court order that asked the guy to move out.
All right, fine. All right, so what happened after did he move out?
Yes, he moved out, and the guy was the main worker in the house who was paying the rent. So when that happened, I sent a notice after giving Miss Denmark some time. I sent a termination notice to her.
Okay.
And the lease was terminated.
All right.
I gave her proper notice, and then the lease was terminated. And since then, he has refused to leave. And the lease was about 110. The rent was 110 a month plus all utilities except water. She has
410. How much
the
was
monthly rent at that time
was 410?
No, 1,100. 1,100.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Plus all utilities except water.
Okay. Since
then, nothing has been paid since the other guy moved out. I initially initiated a case in 2019, which was non-pros. And we went to Common Superior Court, and they said, at that time, I have also filed a new case. So they said, since I have filed a new case, I'm not prejudiced from the non-pros. So the non-pros was affirmed. So this is the case that we are on, and I need my property back.
Okay. When you said, you initially said that you sent out a notice, a termination notice to the remaining tenant, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And when did you do that?
The notice was sent to them in January 15, 2019.
Okay.
And I gave them, under the lease, they were entitled to 15 days, but I gave them.
Can you take your mask off for a second so we can hear you?
Under the lease, they were supposed to get 15 days, but I gave them 30. I gave her 30 days.
All right, fine. The other guy had left in the meanwhile, right?
That's correct.
All right, fine. So she was the only one in the property at the time.
That's correct.
All right. Anything else that you would like to add to your opening?
Basically, I am prejudiced by the fact that for about 2 years they haven't paid anything, and I'm about to lose the property, so I need the property back as soon as possible. There are some people who want to acquire the property, and I need the property back as soon as possible.
All right. So you want to sell the property?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you.
And more important, Your Honor, I have requested both through Ms. Denmark and her attorney to inspect the property, and they have refused to grant me access to the property. That is part of the evidence that is on the
You don't have
record.
access to your own property?
I don't have access to my own property.
All right. All right. Thank
And I also filed with the court some pictures which show that they have neglected the property. They have dumped property. They have dumped damages on the property, around the property for some time.
All right.
I just passed there yesterday, and I found out that they have removed some of the garbage that they have dumped there, but they haven't completed.
All right. Thank you. All right, let me hear from the defense attorney, his opening, if you don't mind, and then we can come back to you for you to put some evidence on the record other than what you stated. All right, Mr. Denenberg, how are you, sir?
Good morning, Your Honor. Again, I represent Charday, Denmark. Some of the facts that Mr. Fremprong did indicate in his opening can be stipulated to, Judge. We can stipulate that in March of 2018, there was a written lease agreement between Ms. Denmark, Mr. Lawson, and Mr. Fremprong to rent a property at 5110 North 12th Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Some point in time, Mr. Lawson did vacate the property. He is not a party to this complaint.
Okay.
We can stipulate that Mr. Fremprong, Stephen Fremprong, is the owner of 5110 North 12th Street. However, testimony will show, Judge, that when a written lease is entered into in Philadelphia County, at the inception of the lease, there are certain documents that a landlord must have to obtain rent and possession. And we will go through these documents through trial. The first one, Judge, is a residential rental license. We will demonstrate that Mr. Fremprong did not have a residential rental license in violation of the city ordinance 9-3902. At the inception of the lease, Judge, Mr. Fremprong had to provide Ms. Denmark and Mr. Lawson a certificate of rental suitability under section 9-3903 of the Philadelphia Code. There was no certificate of rental suitability provided by Mr. Fremprong to Ms. Denmark or Mr. Lawson at the inception of the lease. We will show you, Judge, that there was no Partners for Good Housing booklet, either also provided by Mr. Fremprong to Ms. Denmark and Mr. Lawson. And the fourth item, Judge, for someone to obtain possession of the court, of possession of the property, Judge, is a lead safe certificate. We will demonstrate that my client had a child under the age of 6 at the inception of this lease, also with 3 other children. And at no time did Mr. Fremprong obtain a lead safe certificate and have that document registered with the City of Philadelphia Health Department. For all of these reasons, Judge, Mr. Fremprong should be denied the right to collect rent and be denied the right to obtain possession. I have also attached, and you will see, Judge, that Mr. Fremprong and myself, for another client, have already been to the Superior Court. And this exact matter, these exact facts in the matter of Fremprong versus Richardson, and I will hand that up at the conclusion of this trial, Judge, that Mr. Fremprong is well aware, without having these documents, he is not entitled to possession or rent of this property. And that case has already been decided by the Superior Court, and I've uploaded that case to the court, Judge. And if you want the site, that site is 2018 EDA Edward David Apple 1694.
All right, and that was another client you had who, and Mr. Fremprong was involved with that as well?
He was the plaintiff in that action, Judge.
All right. Sure. Okay, give me 1 second. Thanks.
What the fuck? Why does this happen? What? Here? No. It's not line at the top right corner. This? No. The line. This? Yeah.
Which is in Lincoln. This is now the Lincoln. But look at it. If you come on, please, come on, please go tomorrow. It's up to no person. Officer Cloudy Michigan. No, no, I can't be this person.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Mr. Denenberger, heard everything you said, and I'm familiar with some of the things you've said. My only question before, I'm going to give Mr. Fromberg a little bit more leave to put on, make a record, but my only question to you is, given the circumstances, what's your recommendation? And I know you're representing the defendant, so I'm very clear on that. So you're saying that your position is that there's no ejectment action. He doesn't have standing to have an ejectment action because of his failure to abide by the regulations under the city ordinances codes.
That is correct, Judge, and I can point you to the exact section if you would like to look at it. I did upload that this morning.
No, I think we have it. Yeah, we have it. So
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, Judge, is that he's masking a landlord-tenant complaint into an ejectment complaint.
Right.
If he can't do it below, he can't do it above.
Right, I understand. Okay. So your position is basically if he rectifies these situations, these issues at the landlord-tenant issue, then maybe he might have standing at that level, depending on the circumstances.
I'll get right to the point and I'll give you my closing, Judge, in one line. If he pays his real estate taxes of $15,000, he will get his residential rental license and be able to go back and file a claim in municipal court. If he doesn't pay his $15,000, the city of Philadelphia Department of License and Inspection will not issue him a license.
Right.
It's simple.
So
as
you're
that.
saying, based on your research, he owes $15,000, and that's why he hasn't been able to renew his license?
$14,688.15 to be exact.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Your Honor, if I may.
All right, well, we'll just give him a leave just to say a few more things. And Mr. Frempong, do you wish to respond?
Yeah, that's correct, Your Honor. Your Honor, if I may, first, I want to respond that the lease has been
Sit up so I can see your voice. Take your mask down so I can hear you.
Your Honor, if I may, I want to state that there's no lease. But more important, going back to the lances and all that, and then the fact that—
Excuse me, and I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to interfere with you just a little bit. It's not to be rude. It's just to make sure that we don't have to go back and forth. So when you say there's no lease, what do you mean? You just said you started out by saying that you were renting to them.
Your Honor, the lease has been terminated.
Huh?
The lease has been terminated.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is this: at the time the lease was terminated, did you have a rental license or not?
You're not at that particular time. You have a rental license, but more important.
Wait, hold on, slow down. Did you when you terminated your lease? You said there was a written lease on or about March of 2018, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. Did you have a license at that time?
At that particular time, we have licenses.
All
But thereafter, we lost the license because, and not because of the money that he's talking about. We lost the licenses because there were some,
February 27th.
the property will not pass inspection. And that is the reason why we have demonstrated, and it's on file.
right. All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. So you had a license in March of 2018, yes?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. When did the license end?
Your Honor, the license.
Or when did the lease end?
The lease was terminated on February
what?
2019.
February
2019.
what?
2019.
All right, February 2019.
That's correct.
All right, that's a year later. And at the time that the lease was terminated, did you have a rental license?
Your Honor, the rental license ran out around that time. That's when I terminated it. The time that it was terminated, it coincided with the time that the other person left.
Your Honor, I need that answer again.
Yeah. All right. And my last question was, at the time the lease was terminated, sir, did you have a rental license?
Your Honor, the time the lease terminated, it coincided. We have a rental license at not the time the lease terminated, and we terminated the lease around the same time that the license expired. And the reason is that at that time they have caused some damage. So when we want to apply the lease, you have to certify that the property can pass inspection. The property couldn't have passed inspection. The property couldn't have passed inspection. He's talking about the real estate taxes. Your Honor, the real estate taxes is being paid, and I can give you an agreement that shows that there's no problem with real estate taxes.
All right. Did you swear him in?
I did.
All right. All right. So what evidence do you have to demonstrate? What evidence do you have? I need to see your evidence demonstrating to me, about your being a landlord, having a lease, having a valid lease, and the evidence that the real estate taxes were paid. What evidence do you have?
Your Honor, I have a.
Was Mr. Denenberg saying that you violated certain provisions of the code, and I'm familiar with those provisions, and as a result that this is not an ejectment action because of that. You don't qualify to come under an ejectment, but it's a landlord-tenant matter.
Your Honor,
let me finish. So I need you to demonstrate to me that he's wrong.
Your Honor, I have, if I may be able to show it, I'm holding agreement with the city, payment agreement, signed March 15, 2021, and it's still pending. And Mr. Denenberg, if you want to check, you can check with the city.
Okay, did you send those documents in to me?
Your Honor, those documents were not in question, so I didn't send, but I have it with me.
All right. So that's what, your payment plan agreement?
That's correct.
I don't know if you have a copy.
I don't know whether you can see it.
All right, I want to mark that as P1, okay?
Okay, and I can file it later, Your Honor, if you want.
All right. You never had tried to get an attorney or anything?
No.
All right. So when's the date of the payment plan agreement?
Your Honor, the date is March 15. We have previously entered the agreement, and we have to enter.
Just give me the date, please.
This one agreement, the date is March 15, 2021.
Okay.
Almost over a year ago.
All right. But the point is, was your license active at the time, or did you enter into this agreement so that you could pay your payment for back taxes? Is that what it is?
Your Honor, I couldn't have got a license because there's the property will not pass inspection. And I have evidence that I have already filed with the court that there's a damage to the property. And not only that, I am prevented from getting access to the property. So I cannot go and sign an affidavit that the property qualifies to be rented. So I was.
All right, but you have the
effectively-
deed. Excuse me, you have the deed, do you not?
I have the deed.
Okay.
But Your Honor, before you can get the license, apart from the fact that you don't own the city taxes, you have to be able to also establish that the property has no violations. The property has violations.
I know, I understand that. I understand that. Yeah, so, okay. All right, what other evidence do you have, sir?
You know what? I have the deed, which is part of the record.
Okay,
I have what I would call as Exhibit F, photos that has been filed with the court, photos of the damages of the property around the building.
all right, where are the photos?
Pardon?
Where are the photos, sir? This is your case, so what are
Your Honor,
what's
the
the evidence?
photos are on, Your Honor, I'm coming 1 minute. I'll show you where it was filed December 12, 2, December 2. It's on the docket. All the photos are on the docket. Between December 2nd and December 6th, I filed documents, prepared 2021, I filed documents in preparation for this trial. So they are all part of the record.
All right, what about counsel's statement that he made in his opening about your failure to provide the housing notice to the tenants?
Your Honor, at the particular time that you enter into the agreement, we have lances. After that,
What was that? Sir, take your mask off so I can see your mouth when you talk. Go ahead, good. So good. What are you saying? Slow down.
Your Honor, the lances expire soon after the tenant moved into the property. When we went in, and then
What
when
expired?
they expire after
No, what expired after?
the lances,
Licenses?
the landlord,
Oh,
the lances for renting
I see.
expired
okay,
soon after they moved in.
I see. Okay,
And because they will not give access, they have prevented from getting access to the property, we were not able to go in to renew the lances.
Mhm.
For us to renew the lances, we have to be able to get into the property, because we have to prove to the lances and inspection that there are no violations, and there are violations of the property caused by the tenant, if she
Sure.
is the tenant at that
understand.
time.
Okay,
So I'm prevented from doing anything. And when you go to the lands inspection, they say that it's the responsibility of the landlord, and the tenant will not give access to the property.
okay. All right, were you done?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have any other evidence other than what you've told me about or, provided the court with?
Your Honor, the only evidence, and I will recap the evidence that I have. I have the lease, I have the deed, I have the lease, I have the termination of the lease, I have the features of the damage around the building.
All right,
And also, even on the record, I have a letter to the tenant and to his attorney preventing me from getting access to the property. They are all part of the court record of the filings.
I do see the pictures. These are pictures of the outside, right?
That's correct, Your Honor. Just imagine that if the outside looks like that, how would the inside look like?
Okay.
That is the whole issue. And we have been
right.
prevented from getting inside.
All right, were you done?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Denenberg.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Frempron, you will agree with me that you're familiar with the Philadelphia ordinances requiring landlords who own property in Philadelphia to have a residential rental license. Isn't that correct?
Yes, I agree with you.
Two. And you're familiar, sir, that you just testified and told Judge Hill that you had a license that was active when my client, Ms. Denmark, and Mr. Lawson leased this property in March of 2018. Isn't that your testimony?
Yeah, that's my testimony.
Good. Let me show you L&I's records. I'm going
Sure.
to share a screen, Judge.
Okay. Do you want to mark these as exhibits?
I will mark them 1 through 5, Judge. They're pre-marked.
Okay.
Hand down. Right there. This has been marked a little more. This is scanned down as D2, Judge.
Thank you.
Mr. Frempron,
You're right.
this is L&I's website stating that you did obtain a residential rental license in August of 13. Is that correct?
Sir?
This is the record you're showing.
So the answer is that correct?
The record here reflect that, Your Honor. Yes.
And you would agree with me that the license under this Philadelphia L&I document became inactive February 27th, 2018. Is
Yes,
that
that's what the record reflects.
right? And you testified to Judge Hill that your residential license was active in March of 2018.
That's correct.
Could you show the court a copy of your license for March of 2018? Scan up.
No, the record went
Up more.
at that particular time. What happened was that they sent me the record in March 2018. When we got the record, we sent them the money for renewal. They didn't cash the money for some time, and then they said that the property is not fit to be registered. So at that particular time, that is when we wanted to initiate eviction so that we can go in and fix the problem.
So is it your testimony here today that you leased the property to Ms. Denmark with open L&I violations?
No, not with open L&I violation. At the time that we sent the notice to them when we leased out, before even when they went in, they went and inspect the property. There was nothing wrong. It's after they moved in that they had some problem. Both of them, the two people have problem. They fought and there was a damage. So when we were going to renew the license, we couldn't renew it because L&I has already been there.
Could you show
somebody called L&I and they said that there's some problem you have to correct, so we can't renew it, and that is what happened.
Can you show Judge Hill any open L&I violations on this property today? Show me any paperwork, show the court any L&I violations.
I don't know. What I know is that I have a picture of those that I have given that is on file. And those are violations.
Those photographs, sir, are pictures of mattresses that are laying on the side of the building on the outside. Is that correct?
That's correct, and they are violations.
And those pictures
on the yard.
And those pictures were taken in 2021, aren't they, sir?
They have been there for more than 2 years.
Okay.
They have been there for more than 2 years. That is
Mr.
the last picture that we took.
Mr. Frempron, you're aware that when you leased properties, you needed to provide Ms. Denmark and Mr. Lawson a certificate of rental suitability. Are you not?
We gave them at the time that we were renting the property, we comply with the law. We gave them the housing booklet and we gave them everything at that particular time.
Right. Could you show the court a copy of your certificate of rental suitability that you gave to Ms. Denmark?
The rental suitability that we gave them was operative from, if your own record indicate that February 27, they said that it was inactive. All that, what I'm telling you that at the time that we were renting to them, there was an act, we have a license and that the compliance was there. It was after that it came operative.
Your Honor, I didn't hear the last few words.
Yeah, sir, just can you slow down just a tad? We're not gonna.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Your Honor. The inactive date that you have here says 28. They signed an agreement on 28. So you found out the problem with the date. The time that we showed that we rented the property, we gave them all the requirement. We have the document already.
You would agree?
Then it was when they found out that there were some problems that they revoked the license.
Okay.
You would agree?
The license was operative at the time that the lease agreement was entered.
Okay. All right. 1 second. Go ahead, Mr. Denenberg. Do you have a quick question?
Well, nothing is too quick with Mr. Frempong, Your Honor. I apologize.
Well, yeah, I know you were trying to ask a question.
Yep.
All right. So you asked about the certificate of rental suitability. Was there any other question you had?
Do you have any proof that you gave my client and Mr. Lawson a Partners for Good Housing booklet?
I don't have. If you have requested a discovery, we could have provided you all the information you need.
You would agree with me. You would agree with me, sir, that you attached certain exhibits to your complaint, but you did not attach the residential rental license to your complaint. Is that correct?
Because it's not relevant. The issue you have raised is not relevant to ejectment.
Yes or no, sir? You didn't attach the residential rental license to your complaint.
That's correct.
You didn't attach a certificate of rental suitability to your complaint.
Because it's not relevant to ejectment action.
Okay, and you didn't attach a Partners for Good Housing booklet to your complaint.
It's not relevant to ejectment action.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Denenberg, other than the ones you've asked, sir?
Sure, I'll move on, Judge. When you filed this complaint in 2021, you owed the city approximately $14,000 in real estate taxes. Is that correct?
I don't have the record with me, but the record I have is that the record I have with me is that I have entered into a series of agreements that I've been paying, and I have been paying the real estate taxes for this property. There's no default on the real estate taxes.
But you didn't have a license at the time. Is that correct, sir?
Your Honor, license for what?
Rental license.
Your Honor, at the particular time that we rented the property, there was a valid registered license. What happened was that we paid with check and the money, and then later on they came back somewhere around, I think, April or so. They came back and said that there's a problem with the property, so we couldn't get the license. That's what happened.
You couldn't get their license renewed because of that.
That's correct.
All right.
Your Honor, this was after I've rented it to them.
That's what?
After we have rented it to them, somewhere in April, May, we received a letter from LNI that they could not renew the license. That's what happened.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Denenberg, will you finish? I think I get the gist of both sides, and I don't think there's a need to spend a lot more time on this. Did you want to add anything, Mr. Denenberg?
Just one or two more questions.
Sure.
You were aware that Miss Denmark had a child under the age of 6, were you not, sir?
No.
You were aware that you needed a lead-safe or lead-free certificate when you rented this property, sir. Isn't that true?
At the time we rented the property, we complied with all the requirements of the city and the state.
Did you show the judge, or did you attach to the complaint a lead-safe or lead-free certificate?
I did not tell you because this is not a landlord case. This was an ejectment case. That as far as our construction of the law is concerned, we have terminated their lease, and the lease, and we filed this at this court for ejectment, not for landlord tenant.
That's all
And
the
the
questions I have, Judge.
All right, thank you. Mr. Denenberg, just one question. He claims that he can't have access to the property. And what's your position on that?
That is 100% not true, Judge. I've written numerous letters to Mr. Frempron, and what's happening, Judge, is that they're being returned by the Postmaster General because they say his PO box is closed. So any information that I ever do, I do it in writing. He's had full access to my client's property, Judge.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And she said that she has written a letter to me that it has been returned. Does he have any letter from the post office that letters to me has been returned?
Yes.
Okay, well, can you show it, please?
All right, he's showing it to you now, sir. Here's the thing.
I don't see it, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. All right. We're going to be done with this hearing because I have to move on. There's other hearings that I have to attend to. Mr. Denenberg addressed one of my key concerns given the circumstances, and that is whether you have access to the premises. Because I realize that there may be some deficiencies here in accordance with the law, but my other concern was to make sure that you at least had access to the property because you do have the deed. All righty. So Mr. Denenberg apparently agrees that he has tried to put you on notice and never tried to inhibit you from having access to the property. So the bottom line is this. I mean, some of these deficiencies that exist in the property, you should be able to address. I look at it as a separate issue from the landlord-tenant regulations that exist in our city. So in other words, if I do hear what you're saying, and I respect what you're saying about some of your concerns about maybe the tenants damaging the property, which they should not do, obviously. But it sounds like to me you can address some of these concerns so that you can put yourself in a position to qualify to get your rental license back if they're preventing you, if those violations are preventing you from renewing your rental license. So I'm going to take.
If I may.
Excuse me.
If I may.
Go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, this is not a landlord-tenant case.
Sir, you made your position, you've said your position. I have my own opinions. I've heard enough argument from both sides, and I'm going to take both sides' arguments under advisement, and I'll render my order, okay?
Your Honor, may we submit a briefing in support of each other's position?
Sure.
You may.
Sure, you can. Okay. Have you ever, I know it's financially, I know you might be up against it, but have you ever thought about getting a lawyer to represent you?
Your Honor, no, I think that, Your Honor, I am aware with the law.
Yeah, but it sounds like to me you might need it might be helpful in your case to get a lawyer because I understand, I understand, I have my own personal views, but the point is I do understand what the law is as well. And I see Mr. Denenberg's point of view as well. I'm not saying he's got to represent his client. I respect that. So he's going to do what he needs to do to represent his client. I see your point of view as well.
Your Honor, if I may, if you submit the brief, then you will evaluate and then make your decision. So
but
you give us a time and then
I need your brief. Why don't you give me your brief? Can you give it to me like within the next couple of days?
Your Honor, give me 1 week.
Sure, that's not a problem. I'll give you 1 week. But like I said, you really should maybe, you should have thought about maybe getting an attorney. You might need one given the circumstances, okay?
Okay, thank
you.
Go ahead,
submit your brief. Make sure Mr. Denenberg gets a copy of it, okay?
Your Honor, I serve him all the time. He knows
Mr. Denenberg, I think you've provided your briefs and everything, right?
I have, Judge, but before we close, I need to move my exhibits into evidence.
Of course.
Okay, so I would like to move exhibit 1 and 2 and 5. 1 is the real estate bill. 2 is the history regarding the residential rental license, and 5 is the lease agreement that was attached to the complaint, Judge. Also, Exhibit 3 and 4 are the city code and the Frempong-Richardson decision from the Superior Court.
All right, thank you, sir. I think I have
Your Honor,
reviewed.
if I may, can Mr. I don't have that exhibit. Can Mr. Denberg send me a copy of all his exhibit?
Especially the mail.
It was
All the letter, or if you want, he can make a copy. I can pick it up in his office.
Judge, that was sent to him this morning. When I sent the court the documents to introduce.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Your Honor,
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, my evidence for my documents are all in the file, and I introduced for admission exhibit A to E of attached to my complaint, and then the photos which I will assume as exhibit F. I want that to be admitted into evidence.
Okay. All right. So look, you're sending me a copy of your brief. You want a week to submit that. Is that right, sir?
Yeah.
All right. And if you wish, I have a copy of the pictures, but if you want to include any other exhibits that you introduced today, feel free to do that as well. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it. I will attach everything to the brief.
Okay. All right. In closing, your closing argument would be that you believe that this is an ejectment action and not a landlord-tenant action. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right.
That
And
will be Your Honor, you captured my summary. That's it.
all right. Thank you. And Mr. Denenberg, why don't you just quickly give a one paragraph synopsis, and then we'll be done with this hearing for now.
Hey, Judge, if you take a look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 3, Judge, Section 9-4 brackets EN brackets, which talks about compliance of ordinances in Philadelphia. I'll read you the last line. It says, in actions for evictions or collection of rent, the owner shall attach copies of the residential rental licenses. Period. This is an action for the collection of rent and possession, Judge. It doesn't distinguish between ejectments or landlord-tenant matters. He could not get his hearing in LT court, so now he's trying common pleas court. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. All right. That ends this hearing, and I'm going to give him a week to submit his brief. If you wish to submit anything else, Mr. Denenberg, feel free. I have seen your documents.
Thank you.
And you'll be getting a decision from me very shortly. Okay?
Thank you,
Thank you, Your
Honor.
Honor.
All right, everyone related to this case, have a good day.
Too.
Next.
Okay, I'm gonna have trouble pronouncing this next plaintiff's name. Qua v. McGinley, that's Quauh v. McGinley. Case number 02606.
Can we ask Mr. Frempong to sign off?
Yeah, Mr. Frempong, can you sign off, please, sir?
Okay, Your Honor.
We're done with your hearing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Sign off, sir.
It's good to know.
Huh?
It's good. I can kick him out.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you. Which one now?
All right, it's Qua versus McGinley. I might be butchering the pronunciation of the plaintiff's name. It's Quauh v. McGinley. It's case number 02606.
All right. Is the plaintiff here, Mr. Qua
Quo or
or Quo? Q. I think it's O. Is it Q or O?
it's Q.
Quauh. Is Peter Quo here? The plaintiff. What about Colleen McGinley? The defendant. Is anyone here for the defense?
Doesn't look like, yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's present on the.
All right, one last call. Is Peter Quo here, the plaintiff? in the matter of Quo versus Colleen McKinley. Is Miss McKinley here? All right, let the record reflect that neither the plaintiff nor the defense appeared, and according to my records, the docket seems to indicate that doesn't appear that the defendant was ever, I'm not sure if the defendant was served or not, but we'll find that out. All right, so I'm going to move on for the time being. There was a letter in the file by Judge Flightman advising the parties, I believe, about this hearing, but we're going to move on and not dwell on this matter right now. All right, so next.
All right, White v. Watts et al., case number 00403. White v. Watts.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Kopolis for Harold White, and he's.
How are you?
president of the office.
All right, 1 second.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jacob Spidel for the defendant, Mamie Watts, who's on Zoom as well.
Okay. All right, how are you?
I'm well, Your Honor. How are you?
Yeah, thank you, two of you, for your patience. All right, so Mr. Plaintiff's counsel, will you, can you give an opening then?
Your Honor, before we go any further, myself and Mr. Spidel spoke, and we actually came to a proposed resolution of this matter.
Okay.
If I could put the terms on the record with Mr. Spidel's permission.
Hopefully you get too frustrated waiting in line as we did these hearings.
Hopefully he didn't change his mind over the last 2 hours while he was watching matters transpire, Your Honor.
Right. So it wasn't the judge then, you guys just peacefully resolved this matter yourself, correct?
No comment. No, of course, Your Honor. We peacefully resolved it ourselves.
Okay, then. Good. Do you want to put the terms on the record?
Your Honor, the terms, and Mr. Spidel, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's judgment of possession forthwith. No lockout shall take place until May 31st, 2022.
Hold on 1 second. I'm jotting this down. Judgment of possession forthwith.
No lockout shall take place until May 31st, 2022.
And just to clarify, no lockout may take place until after May 31st.
Correct.
So she has May 31st as a day for moving.
Okay.
Writ of possession shall issue forthwith. On May 31st, 2022, Mr. White shall meet Miss Watts at the property, and they shall exchange $750 for the keys. Mr. White giving Miss Watts $750 for the keys.
All right, that's May 22nd?
May 31st of 2022.
Okay. All right, and White will meet Watts on the property?
Yes, Your Honor, with cash for the keys.
Okay.
However, we may schedule the sheriff beginning today.
Okay. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
1 second. All right, defense counsel, would you like to add anything, or you concur with everything that plaintiff's counsel said?
So I concur with everything that plaintiff's counsel said. Just to be clear, if my client is able to move earlier, we can arrange through counsel for the exchange for money and keys to take place sooner.
Okay.
And that this is a complete resolution of the case. So this is a waiver of all plaintiff's claims against my client and my client's counterclaims against the plaintiff.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, that takes care of this matter. What I'm going to ask you to do, plaintiff's counsel, if you don't mind, just memorialize what you just told me. I wrote it all down, obviously, and the stenographer has it, but just memorialize it in an order and email it to my office and CC a copy to counsel, okay?
Sure, Your Honor. I'll do that right after we get off the Zoom.
Thank you. And we'll get that out hopefully today, okay?
Great.
All right, fine. If not today, within the next day or two.
Thank you.
Anything else related to this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that takes care of this case then. And we're going to move on to the next case.
All right, next case. Peasy versus Vasquez, case number 01824. Peasy versus Vasquez.
Peasy versus Vasquez. Is any Mr. Peasy here or his attorney? Is anyone here for Mr. Peasy? Sure. Is anyone here for Luis Vasquez? Again, is anyone here for Luis Vasquez? All right. Let the record reflect before we move on that it looks like the defendant was apparently served on July 23rd, 2021, and never filed an answer. But I'm also noting that the plaintiff hasn't appeared either. All right, one last call. Peasy versus Vasquez. Are either of these parties here? All right, we're going to move on then.
All right, case number 9, Moss versus Speaks. Case number 02069, Moss v. Speaks.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, how are you?
Okay, sir.
So are you Mr. Moss?
I am, sir.
All right, how are you?
Okay,
Do you have an attorney or you're representing yourself?
myself.
All right, Miss Speaks, I see you're on the screen. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. And are you representing yourself?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, Mr. And either both of you are making a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary decision to represent yourselves.
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you swear both in?
Sure. Mr. Moss, could you raise your right hand, please?
Yes,
Swear
sir.
the testimony you're going to give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. Ms. Speaks, same for you. Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. All right. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Moss, if you don't mind, sir. You're the plaintiff. Can you give a quick opening statement as to why you're here today and what relief you're seeking?
Well, sir, one, I do not know for sure why I am here.
Well, you're the plaintiff, right?
Well, yes, it was just that, okay, the problem was Mrs. Speaks left my home in a terrible position.
Miss Speaks?
Yes.
Okay.
They destroyed my home.
All right.
And I have all the pictures to show that how they tore it up. First of all, she wasn't supposed to be there. I never gave her a lease or anything. What happened, I happened to come there. I got word because my cousin, family member, was supposed to have been fixing the house up for me, doing a little work in the house.
All right. So you have, just so we're clear, excuse me for interfering, you have the deed to the house, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I own the house.
All right. So your cousin or someone was supposed to fix the property up. Is that correct?
They were supposed to have been doing some work in the house for me.
All right.
Yes.
And you didn't know that Miss Speaks was in the property?
I didn't find out until I believe it was a month or more. I got a call from a neighbor of mine.
When you say a month or more, a month from more, what, when?
And what I'm gonna say in 2018.
Okay.
Of I'm not sure what month it was, September probably.
Okay. All right. So in the meanwhile, I'm asking questions just to speed this along.
Yes.
In the meanwhile, how long have you had the property and owned the property?
Oh wow, I grew up there.
But
it was
right,
in my
question is
mother's
how long have you been the owner of the property or had the deed to the property?
Okay, in my name, I would say since 2014.
All right. And the deed is only in your name?
It is now, yes, because it was in my sister and my name.
In
Yes.
2014, was it in your name and your sister's, or just yours?
Yes, it was. My
In your
sister
name. In your name?
and my name or her name?
Has the deed been in your name since 2014? That was my question.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So when did your contractor go in there and do work?
The house was already fixed up, but it was still work I needed to have done in the house, like the porch.
All right.
And,
My question is, when did the contractor go there to do that work?
Oh boy. I'm gonna say, oh boy. If they was in September, I would say August.
August of what?
August 20, was it 17, 2018, 2017 or 18.
What's the address?
4335 North
35 what?
North 15th Street.
All right. Sorry. At the time your contractor went there to do work, was there anyone in the house?
No, sir.
All right. So that was in August of 2018 that the contractor went to do work, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you found out, I think you said about a month later in September 2015 that Miss Speaks was there?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell me what happened then.
Well, I got a call because I had my neighbors watching over the house for me, so nobody would go in there, break in anything. However, I got a call saying that someone was in my home and they had been throwing grease and stuff, pouring grease and stuff outside the house in the drain. And I explained to them no one is supposed to be there in the house. So I called my cousin, tried to get in touch with him. He disappeared. So I had to take a flight to Philadelphia from Florida.
You don't live in Philly?
No, sir.
Where do you live?
In Florida.
Okay.
So I had to take a flight there. And when I got there, I seen people going into the residence. I called the police. The cop came out there and she came out and I told, she showed a document of, what is it, a lease. And it had my name on there. And I told the cop, and I also said to her, I did not sign any lease because no one is supposed to be in my home. However, the officer said, well, there was a case because she supposedly had put up money, given money to him for the
Giving
property.
money to who?
To my cousin, the person who was taking care of the house.
The
who
contractor.
signed her in. Yeah.
The contractor. Okay.
Yes. Who wouldn't let her in that house.
All right.
And I said to her in front of the police, I have nothing to do with that.
All right.
That's between you and him.
All right. So I'm gonna cut. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to speed this along. So the bottom line is your cousin, who's the contractor, doesn't own the house, correct?
No, sir.
You're the owner.
No, I'm the owner.
Okay. All right. And she showed you a lease that she had between her and your cousin.
Yes.
All
But she had my name on there.
I understand. All right. But you're here to testify and affirm that you are the owner of the house and you didn't sign the lease.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so you put her on notice. That was back in on or about September 2018.
I'm sorry, sir. Repeat that.
When you flew back to Florida, that was on or about September of 2018. When you
yes.
Okay.
I believe it was. Yeah.
So she refuses to leave, even though your name's not on the lease, and you told her you don't want her in there, right? You don't want to have you don't want her as a tenant.
Yes.
All right.
That's
fine.
good.
Would you like to add anything else?
Only that the house and her leaving, they tore up the house.
All right, I
They
understand.
destroyed the house.
For the
That's it.
record, what did they do?
Oh boy. Tore up the kitchen, holes on the side of where she left her refrigerator, holes in the ceiling. The bathroom was door taken off the bathroom, the mirror knocked out the back room closet.
Okay.
It's just so many things she did. So
All right, and when you
I
said
have pictures.
they, you used the pronoun they. Is it Miss Speaks and someone else?
And her family.
Okay, who else is that? Do you know?
I just know of her kids.
All right.
And her.
All right, thank you. Would you like to add anything else before I give Miss Speaks a chance to speak?
I would, yes. And being there, being attacked.
You were
by
attacked?
her. Yes. My wife and I, by her and her family.
Okay. So when you came up from Florida, your wife was with you?
This was the second time.
All right. So when was it? What date was the second time?
October 19th of
2018?
2019.
Oh, 2019. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So October 19th, 2019.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you and your wife were attacked by Miss Speaks and her family?
Yes.
Anything else, sir?
That's it, sir.
All right, thank you. Give me 1 second. Sir, is Miss Speaks still on the property?
No, sir.
When did she leave?
I really don't know, sir. I have no idea.
She's been gone for a while?
Yes, I would say yes.
All right, just so we're clear, can you give me a time frame so I have it locked in on the record?
Well, the time frame, sir, I'm not sure of, but I can say when I've gone there, it was when did I go there? What month was it that I went there?
I'm getting ready to look it up.
Just 1 second, sir. I'm just going to look at something to let you know when did I go there. And I found out no one was in the house.
Okay.
We went there for Christmas last year.
Christmas last year,
All right, so Christmas.
2021, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, so now you have access to the house, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, fine. All right, Miss Speaks, would you like to add anything?
Yes, so I met Mr. Moss the day that he showed up to the house with the cops. I presented with the lease that I was presented with. I didn't know anything about him not knowing that I was in the house or anything, but we came to agreement that day, whereas though he was going to allow me to stay there and he was going to stick to the lease that I did show him, was pay $900 a month. I was paying him $900 a month. The house started falling apart. He has a very bad plumbing problem in his house. So that's why it's holes in the ceiling, because of the plumbing that's in the house. The water started leaking and the ceiling started falling. I've been out the house actually since August of 2001. I think I got the paper. I think I got served with the paper in July. and I moved out the next month. They been knew I moved out because when I went back to try to get the rest of my stuff, the locks was changed. I'm not sure who changed the locks, but the locks was changed and I wasn't able to get the rest of the stuff out of the house. I didn't make a big issue of it because my father had just passed in April. So I was mourning his death and I didn't just feel like going through the extra. So I just moved out and I went on about my business. I have another place where I've been staying at since September of last year. And I haven't been to the property, back to the property. I just left and that was that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Moss, you agree with her assessment?
No, sir.
What do you mean? What is it that she said that you disagree with very quickly?
About her being, other words, me keeping her stuff or her not being able to get back
but
in.
somebody locked the door. You didn't keep the stuff, but when I went back to get the rest of my stuff, the locks was changed. I had no way to enter back into the property. I was mourning my dad's death, so I didn't just feel like the extra, so I just left everything there and I wound up moving into my new place in September. So I had to buy everything all over again.
All right, so you're not interested in this stuff anymore, correct, ma'am?
No, I bought everything all over again.
All right, thank you. All right, so basically you agree with her, Mr. Moss, that she's out of the place and she's no longer interested in her items. You agree with that, sir?
Yes.
All right, so listen, thank you. I don't think I need to hear any more. It sounds like to me, you brought an ejectment action, did you not, Mr. Moss?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, obviously she's out of the property now, so it's a moot point. So if she were still in there, then I might agree with you, given the way you explain things. But she's no longer in there. It's no longer an issue. The whole point of this action was to eject people from the house. But she's not in there, so it's no longer an issue. So if you're interested in damages or something like that, you have to pursue another course of action because the scope of your complaint is for ejectment and not for damages or anything like that. So, I mean, you can still go through landlord tenant court possibly to punish you seek
because you don't have a rental license. That's why we're here.
Oh, okay. Well, you do need you should have a rental license. No, not you.
I have note that he was accepting the rent from me.
Okay.
So he knew
I
was
understand.
there.
No, I understand. I hear your point, and I'm not disagreeing with you. You're on the line with some of the other cases. So you do need a rental license if you're a landlord, according to Philadelphia ordinances. Do you hear me, Mr. Moss?
Yes, sir.
I mean, if you decide to rent it out, that's what I'm saying. She's gone now. She's gone now, but but the bottom line is you didn't rent it out from her in the first place, so that was never your intent anyhow. So you didn't really need one because she was in there improperly because of your cousin. None of this really matters at this point though, because it's water under the bridge. You have your property. If you want to fix it up, I would say that you go on and fix it up. By the way, let me say this. I'm not saying that you still can't pursue redress from Ms. Speaks, just so now that I think about it, because she wasn't in there properly anyhow, from what I see. So, I mean, it's possible you might be able to seek redress. You follow me?
Yes.
Yeah, because you never entered into a landlord-tenant relationship with her. If you had, then she's right. You wouldn't need a license. But since she was in there improperly, that might be your, you might have a justification for pursuing other action. You follow me?
The question, even that we agree verbally, because I have notification that he was accepting the money from me. He was accepting the rent money from me.
That might add a different wrinkle to it. Okay, so this is not the forum for that, because this is here for ejectment. But what you're saying would have to be considered as well. Okay, so it sounds like to me that both parties may want to just call it a day, and you have your property, Mr. Moss, and at least she's out of there. She agrees. She's not trying to press the issue. So maybe it's better to leave sleeping dogs lie, as they say. But if you're interested, Mr. Moss, in pursuing another action, all these other issues would have to be considered as well in terms of what your status is. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay, but I think for purposes of this hearing, the matter is resolved, and I'm going to issue an order pursuant to the information I heard today, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, okay, Ms. Speaks?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Any other questions before I end this?
No, sir.
All right, everyone, have a wonderful day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Take care. We have one more matter, I believe.
Yes, I'm gonna call the other matter that's redundant, stuff just to ensure that they're actually not crossed.
Okay.
All right, case number 10, Pena Lopez versus unknown occupants, case number 01509. Again, that's Pena Lopez versus unknown occupants.
And good morning again, Your Honor. Mark Kopolis for Felix Pena Lopez.
How are you? If you had said something earlier, we could have, I could have taken you as soon as we were done with the last matter that you handled.
Oh, thank you. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, if you have any other matters later this week, just let me know, because I don't want to keep, there were a couple of these matters, as you know, that fortunately were more protracted than I anticipated. But what I'm saying is, if you do have a matter, either tomorrow or Wednesday, sort of let me know, and I'll try to, that way I don't have to keep you waiting all day.
It was a didactic experience, Your Honor. I learned a lot sitting and watching here today. So nothing lost at all.
Okay.
Your Honor, my client, Mr. Lopez, is in
I
possession.
don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a good thing.
Huh?
It's a good thing.
Okay, good.
But my client's in possession of the property here, Your Honor, so we can mark this settled or withdrawn or whatever the court's preference.
Settle, discontinue, and end it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. But like I
Thank you,
said,
Your Honor. Have a good
tomorrow, if you have matters tomorrow or Wednesday, just let me know and we'll try to, lump them all together so we can get you in and out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Take care. The defendants, nobody's here from the defense.
No,
I guess.
it's empty. See, it's just
Okay.
us and Janice.
All right. Thank you. Janice?
Hi, Judge.
Okay. Looks like you injured yourself.
I did, and that's why I had my video off. I didn't want to distract you.
Well, I'm sorry. Hopefully it's not too serious.
Well, my glasses, I took a little fall and my glasses cut my cheek.
Oh, I see. Wow.
So-
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know. So anyway,
Are you
but
okay?
I thank the Lord. I have my 2 eyes, my teeth, my wrists.
Are you okay apart from the scratch?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I was pushing a trash can. I was working, of course. I wish I could tell you somebody clobbered me because I was preaching on the corner, but I can't tell you that fib. So
this
Your
happened.
Honor,
This happened.
Your
in
Honor,
Philadelphia?
this was interesting to me also, because there's a difference between ejectment and a landlord case where they.
No, you're right. I agree. So I think are you talking about the one, Mr. Denenberg's case?
Well, all of them really. I mean, it
Oh.
wasn't I mean, Denenberg, he was really something to, try to say, forget it. You can't do anything because you don't have a license. You don't have the,
As much as as and between us, I think we're the only ones on here.
Yes.
As much, I think I feel bad for the plaintiffs, the plaintiff in that matter, because he obviously is from another country, but I'm going to research this. But I think there might be truth to what Mr. Denenberg is saying, because you're supposed to have a license when you rent.
I know.
And you can't. I mean, you know that. I know that. We're both
Right.
landlords, and I know I have to always make sure my license is updated, because if you don't have one, if a squatter gets in there or something, you're going to have a mess on your hands trying to get them out. Plus, they want to make sure your property taxes are paid. So, and then of course they have, as you and I had discussed just informally a while ago, these certificates of occupancy and the housing notices you have to give to your tenants, because these are new laws and regulations. And if you don't get them technically can suspend rent, for the period of time they don't have them. It's all these laws and stuff that are really,
They're designed for the tenant, really.
yeah, to a large degree, take advantage of the landlords. So it's a shame. So that poor gentleman, I don't know if there's a lot that, and apparently Mr. Denenberg had that other case involving him, as he mentioned, with a different tenant that went up to the Superior Court, and they ruled against the plaintiff for the same reasons, pretty much. So they're pretty stringent about these landlords following these regulations. Now, I think that doesn't stop the tenant from. He has the owner of the property, he has the deed, so he can still go in there and do what he needs to do. That doesn't prevent him from doing that. So I don't understand why he hasn't utilized that avenue. At least go in there, fix up the property so that he can, and then document what he does so that he can get his license renewed. But if he owes all that back money because he didn't pay his property taxes, that's not a good thing either. So he's going to have to get over those hurdles. So I think, quite frankly, with that matter, I'm going to look at the law again just to double check, but that's probably going to get remanded to landlord tenant court.
How do they sidestep, though, landlord tenant court when they all appeared to be cases with a tenant and a landlord, didn't they? I don't know how.
Repeat that.
I don't know how they are. I guess I don't understand the difference between coming before this court today with ejectment rather than landlord tenant. They all seem to be landlord tenant. No?
Yeah, no, a lot of them did seem, many of them did seem to be landlord tenant. So they shouldn't really be here. Yeah, no, because we have a form here that you can probably see. Can you see this?
Yes.
And it's an actual ejectment form, and it has different options.
Okay.
One of which is it's like sample language for ejectment cases, and depending on what the situation is. So there's one here that says the court finds that plaintiff filed an action in ejectment requesting possession of the property at issue. However, a landlord-tenant relationship exists between plaintiff and defendant, and the plaintiff cannot proceed under ejectment and further fail to establish a right to possession as landlord. So you're fighting for the plaintiff or dismissing for the proper action to be filed. All righty, so there's different options. If, for example, something's tied up in orphans court because somebody died and like the one case we had needs to be resolved by way of a will.
Right.
That really should be an orphans court, because those issues got to be resolved before they can determine whether the plaintiff is standing to eject,
Right.
So unfortunately, why I feel bad for Mr. Frompong, or whatever way you pronounce his name, and I'm going to read his brief. I think he's making a mistake by just trying to do this himself, He's going to have to go to maybe community legal services or somebody and try to get an attorney. And I know money might be an issue, but he's got to try to get some kind of, maybe through the bar association, some kind of representation, because you got people like Mr. Denenberg, because I'm seeing these cases more and more.
Oh, boy.
Where they find these technicalities.
Oh, they are. They're technicalities. I was thinking.
They're using them to their advantage.
Yes.
To stay in there and milk the system as much as they can,
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. So, and there's not a whole lot I can do about it because you're supposed to have a license, and I know that, being a landlord myself, and you know it. And if, as you can see, when it goes up on appeal, like the one case that Mr. Denenberg referred to, if it goes up to the Superior Court, it looks like they're pretty stringent about making sure that people follow the law.
Yes.
Landlords follow the law in terms of what they need to do.
Yeah.
It's a shame because, like I said, every little thing you got to just be so careful about. It's a big, constantly say a prayer that you don't get taken advantage of as a landlord.
Yes. It made me think time to sell and get out.
I know. I think about that too, a lot. But now there was a time a year ago when you and I were speaking, or even 8 months ago or 9 months ago, where the market was good for selling. I think it looks like things are starting to change a little bit now.
Yes, Judge. I mean, I'm showing my house today 3 times, the realtor is, but it's been sitting, it's been sitting, and I keep lowering the price. And I guess I may have to lower it again. I'm ready to take anything at this point.
I know. That's why, to be honest with you, it's causing me to pause before I actually give my other remaining tenants their notice, because they've been with me a long time, and at least they pay their rent. And a half a loaf is better than none, because at least
I was
pay the bills,
Yes, Judge, I know it's.
I'm starting to be honest with you, I'm starting to reconsider whether I just be thankful that for God, for what he's done for me. He's helped me to survive so far. And it's not like I had to rely on it. And I'll let you know. I have to find out what my taxes are this afternoon at 2:30.
Wow.
So, but if the one thing about the building, it's been providing some tax.
Yes. And I have to say, I too benefited in the past 15 or 20 years.
Yeah.
And maybe for me, it is time, because I was thinking about putting tenants in if they weren't going to sell,
Yeah. I had that one tenant I told you, the most recent one. And I had somebody Friday, I think. I had, remember I told you she was here in Hisson's house. So I had a exterminator from one of the, I call my exterminator, they referred me to someone else who does that type of thing. Critter control or somebody else, wildlife, something. So I had that exterminator go over there Friday, and he looked he couldn't detect anything, but he said he saw a spot on the roof that looked like it's possible that it may have been separating a little bit in one spot. Not big, but he said it's probably good to have somebody look at it
and close the hole up.
Yeah, if that's true. So I have to like consider that. I hate to do it because not if there is really a hole there. I can't tell because he was taking it from the ground, and it's 3 stories up. So I'm debating what I should do because to have one of them go up there and do it. First of all, I don't know if there's a rodent or anything. I mean, maybe there is, maybe there's not.
Sometimes the birds try to make nests in any hole they can get to,
Well, he said that too.
And sometimes the babies fall down.
Yeah.
And until they die, I'm sorry to say, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
If they fall down in between your bricks and your sheetrock, eventually they die. But yes, I've had that once or twice in life.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at my house the other day. Somebody put a screen over one of the openings. It looks like a vent on the second floor.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a vent, but I don't know why they didn't cover the other 2.
Well, what I'm thinking about doing is, because he was saying, I asked him, well, roughly speaking, what would it cost to have somebody just go up there? And I don't believe, like I said, you never know, but I think if it was really like a raccoon or a squirrel, you would really know if they were in the house. Because I've had squirrels in my house before.
That's right.
And they're noisy, you can tell.
Yes.
Nobody, so he said it would cost maybe about several thousand for somebody to go up there.
Oh.
Yeah, so I said I'm saying to myself, but he said he's not sure, and there's no evidence of it. So we're clear, there's no evidence.
And this holds on the 3rd floor?
Apparently, yeah. It's all the way on the top floor.
And where is her apartment? 3rd or 2nd?
No, hers is on the 2nd, but it's not even in the same location.
It's not. Well, then it can't be that hole. Then it can't be.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm going to look at it again on my phone, but it looks like it's in a whole different location. And I had that roof put on not too long ago anyhow, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And I was going to have the roofers go up there and just check it out anyhow and put another coat on it.
Well, that's an idea. The same, roofer
Yeah,
that put the roof on, ask him to go back and take a look at the hole.
yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Even if I have to pay them to put another coat on it, at least that's money well spent.
Yes, yes, Judge.
Yeah, as opposed to just having a exterminator go up there who doesn't have direct evidence,
That's
And
right.
they're going to have to do the same thing anyhow.
That's right. He's right.
Yeah, so even the only downside is, let's say for the sake of argument, if there happened to be a rodent in there, the exterminator would trap the rodent. But I don't really think it's anything because after I got off the phone, after I talked to him, I talked to several of my tenants again, and there was no issue. In other words, they haven't heard anything. So I think it's just this one lady being idiosyncratic. So I think I'm going to, I'm hoping actually that if she wants to leave, that's fine with me, because even if I have to lower the rent, I'm willing to do that. If I have to drop it 100, it's just to have peace of mind. But
Yeah.
I'll use a different, excuse me, use a different realtor. Maybe I'll use your guy or somebody else.
Yeah, well, I told you I had asked you that question last week when I said to him, do I have an option? Well, if I allow his real estate to find me a tenant, do I have the option to pick and choose who they found?
Yeah.
And he said, unfortunately, that's the downside
Yeah.
of a realtor finding you a tenant.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to pick the person they have though, right? It's up to you, right? You can't ask certain questions, but you don't have to necessarily pick them, right?
I thought I asked that question pretty straightforward and clear, and he said that was the downside of that I didn't have the option to pick and choose. No, I don't want that person. Give me another one, I mean, I thought I asked.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right about that, but I know you can't like ask based on race and stuff like that, but I definitely don't want like this tenant, like every other weekend brings her grandkids over. I really prefer not to, because especially a new place, they put their hands all over the wall, they tear up
I know,
stuff.
Judge. I've never rented to kids.
Yeah, neither did I, and neither have I, and I'd rather not go through all those headaches,
Yeah.
So
I even put no smoking and no pets. I don't know how you advertise.
yeah, no, I
but-
definitely don't want any pets and no smoking. That's clear. I make that very
Okay.
clear. Yeah, because I don't want, it's bad. Some of them even want to like burn incense, in the
I
house.
know.
Yeah,
I know. That's
that
another
that
thing.
worries me to death because
Absolutely.
I don't want there to be a fire. They don't seem to understand that.
I know. That was another thing one time I put in the lease, that no burning candles, incense. I even put no flags attached to the wall outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And it's like this same woman, I caught her burning incense, and then you say something to them, you got to get into a big argument, So it's I'm gonna, so hopefully she'll leave soon, because I'm not going to go into, I just don't want to spend that kind of money on speculation. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, that's not necessary.
Yeah, I mean,
especially that no one else has brought it up to you.
Exactly. If like you said, if it were a case where one or two other people had complained, that's different. Then it's worth expending the money. But what's the point of renting out to her if you got to go through all that? I mean, I think it's really in her mind, as sick as it is, she has this issue paying a higher rent. It's a newer place, but I think, and I don't know whether one of the other tenants shot their mouth off and told her what they're paying, which is possible. And maybe she has some kind of anger about that, but her place is brand new too. And everything in it is brand new. So I can't charge her the same rent. And some of those people have been with me for years. Even with them, I'm going up. But I think what I've learned is just to slow things down and not, don't be so concerned about trying to get the higher rent. Just go slow. And I get along well, knock on wood, so far with the tenants who have been there. I am taking a hit because I'm not getting the kind of rents that, but they basically don't drive me crazy, and they pay their rent, and it's a system that I have down. So with this newer one, I don't know how long she's going to be there because I think she wants a house anyhow, but she has a tendency to complain. So I haven't spoken to her since the exterminator has been over there, but I can tell you now that when I do speak to her, I'm not going to, I don't plan on taking this any further, with the exterminator.
Right.
What I'm going to do is just call the roofer, I think,
Right.
very shortly, and see if he could just go up there and
Right.
if there's a hole, fix it. And that's the end of it. But I'm not going to worry about it anymore. If she does, because I felt once that's fixed, she'll find something else, So, and the exterminator never detected anything that was there, He never, it wasn't anything he could point to say, oh yeah, this is a problem, or.
Was she home when the exterminator went in? Okay,
Yes.
so she knows that you called an exterminator.
7 o'clock in the morning on Friday.
Wow.
I made sure she was there before she went to work.
Wow.
And so she was there. He talked to her, and I still have his number too. He was nice. He was very nice. And I think he tried to give an honest assessment, which he did. I think the only thing he was saying is that from the ground, it looked like in this one little spot, he may have seen, he may have seen where there's a possibility that there could be a little
Right.
break in the roof. So I couldn't argue with him.
And this is the time that there's activity with the spring, with the birds making nests.
Yeah.
But you're saying that hole's not even on her side of the building.
No, to my knowledge, and I'll double check it just to be sure. But the picture he sent me, I don't. And then when I go over there next time, I'm going to look myself. But it's, I know the roof is new. Basically new. I mean, it's not.
Right.
It's about 4 or 5 years old now.
Right.
So
I did have one time birds make a nest in the dryer vent that comes out of the building.
Yeah.
When it was installed, they never capped it or if they did, it came off.
Yeah.
Either they didn't or it fell off. And then the birds made a nest. And my tenant was telling me she heard scratching in the vent, in the dryer vent. And lo and behold, they had a nest in there with babies.
Yeah.
So
well, they get anywhere. I have.
They can get anywhere.
I have shutters on my windows to my house, and I always wanted to keep them up. My wife wants me to take them down, but they built their nest in between the shutters. And he was telling me that the exterminator was telling me.
I know.
I always found it. I never wanted to bother them because my outlook was, well, the birds need someplace to. So it's as long as it's on the outside of the house. But
that's right. That's right.
But he was telling me that you even have to be careful there because they're in their nests and everything. They have like little mites, and you don't want them to get inside the house,
That's right. And God forbid that the nest that was in my dryer vent could have started a fire. God forbid.
Yeah.
So I had to get somebody up there, take it down, get the nest out, close it up.
Yeah.
But I still hear them all over the building. I have a lot of sparrows in my neighborhood.
So I'm still thinking about maybe I should just take my vents down. But like I said, it's a little bit charming, because you hear them, but they're very noisy in the morning and everything. Like I said, I always looked at it as sort of some God's will. They have a place to stay too, and it never bothered me.
Right.
You don't see them. You don't like in urban areas. You don't see them in everywhere. I'm talking
That's
about.
right.
Yeah, but I'm only a block away from Montgomery County, and so I always looked at it as a little bit charming. But who knows? I have to say a prayer whether I'm going to take them down or not. Yeah. So that's the latest report on that tenant. So I, I'm not going to argue with her. I told her from the outset that if I found something, if he found something, um, then I would consider obviously taking some action, but
And you had to pay him to come out.
no,
You
he
had to-
actually did a free inspection.
Wow.
That was nice. I was shocked because they did a free inspection.
Oh, that
So
was a blessing.
yeah, it was, but I would have paid him to do it.
Of course.
Yeah, I told her that I would, but the thing is, with this advice that they're giving too, you're not sure whether. Sorry.
Oh, so feel bad.
Yeah, I've been taking sinus medicine all
Oh,
weekend,
boy.
and even as I speak, I'm getting congested.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah, sorry, because the weather, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, I know.
But even the time I've been here on Zoom, it's so anyhow, what I was saying is that the advice that he gave, even, you have to always question, is that tied into the fact that they gave a free inspection and, to sort of springboard from that. I think he was trying to be honest.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just never, until she mentioned this, there was never any issue like this, so if she leaves, fine. I'll just take it slow, and I'll lower the rent to the extent that I can have an input in finding the next tenant. I will, and if I can, I understand too. But I'm going to try to be very vigilant. Quite frankly, if they try to give me a tenant, if she leaves and they try to give me a tenant I don't feel comfortable with, I'm going to try to resist as much as I can within reason.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want another headache. I'm not going to have, this is like the third time I've fixed up this place. Now, the other tenant was with me for years, but she just was not clean so.
So this one, does she know that she has the option of leaving? I
We
mean,
talked about it. Because when she
okay.
was, last time I was there to collect her rent, I told her that no one else in the building has complained about this. In fact, I didn't even want to mention it to the other tenants, to be honest with you, because I didn't want to open up a can of worms.
Of course.
Because they're usually pretty good about telling me when there's an issue. But I just said to myself, I was going to bite the bullet. And as a follow-up to do my due diligence, having spoken to the exterminator, that I would just go in and ask, because I needed to know whether it was something I felt I really needed to address, or whether it would be just a waste of time and money, And I just concluded after talking to them, the other tenants, that it's not, I don't feel comfortable, trying to spend that kind of money on speculation,
No, I don't see that being necessary.
Yeah.
Not, it's just, I wouldn't do it. That's all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
Because it's not, I mean, yeah, like you're saying, I just think it's just such a waste of time. And
And if something made a nest there, whoever lives in that apartment on that third floor corner, they would have heard it first.
yeah.
They would have told you.
And the person on the third floor above her, I spoke to him. He didn't, he has no issue. The other person on her floor on the other side, he had no issue. The other one on the other side, on the upstairs, never complained.
Yeah. I mean, if there was an issue like mine, thank God she told me, the nest in the dryer vent.
Yeah.
Thank God she told me. But they're the ups and downs, right, Your Honor?
Yeah, no, they are. And
of owning a property with a little extra income, and but
it's a sacrifice, for all of us, because none of us are really wealthy like that, and so we're just trying to make a little extra money. So it is what it is. I think my kids would like me to hold on to the property, and I probably will for a little while longer, but I always say a prayer because you just never know. I mean, every time, all it takes is somebody getting hurt, no matter what you're trying, no matter how careful you try to be. Or
Yeah,
you see some of these horror stories like we saw today.
yeah, I know. They were horror stories. And
Yeah,
I thank God that I was always able to discern and put in single professional people. And I did just advertise recently to rent the one above me. I said, if your credit is above 700, I said you get a discount, because if their credit is above 700, Judge, you know they're going to pay their rent.
yeah,
They're responsible people. They
Yeah.
don't want their credit report tarnished.
right.
And I did get a few responses, so I'm not leaning toward the realtor yet doing it. I really want to sell it, to tell you the truth, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I'll continue to pray for you and continue to keep me in your prayer.
I am praying, I am.
I'll keep you posted on how this goes.
Yeah.
With this.
So
new-
we have a list tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow
and Wednesday.
morning. And Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with Stanley, Mr. Thompson, because I did not have the right instructions on how to get on. That's why I wasn't on this morning.
Oh, I see.
So there was one click below where I was supposed to be, and then I got on.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be no problem tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
All right, Your Honor.
Well, take care, and maybe
Okay.
if you see a big frown on my face tomorrow, that'll be probably because of my
About the taxes.
taxes.
Yeah. Oh,
So
boy.
I'm going to pray that they're going to be all right.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, I'll say a
All right,
prayer
you-
about that too.
you take care.
All right, Your Honor. All right,
All
be
right.
safe. I'll see you
All right,
tomorrow
thank you.
morning.
All right, take care.
All
Bye.
right, bye-bye.